Welcome to St. Ambrose Academy Student Pop-Up. My name is Angela Hineline, and I am the Director of Enrollment at St. Ambrose Academy. I'll be your hostess for tonight's event. In just a few minutes, I'll be joined by a few members of our 2021 graduating class. And together we will reminisce about their extracurriculars, teachers, favorite classes, and much more. I couldn't be more excited to bring this event to you tonight. And I'm very excited to reminisce with these 6 guests that we will have with us tonight, because with some of these students, I've had the great pleasure of spending 7 years with them. So I know this is going to be a fun evening, but the big question is whether or not you have questions about St. Ambrose Academy. And I think this is a great night that if you have questions that you've always wanted to ask a student, that you can take advantage of us having all of these great students with us tonight so that you can ask them questions directly. So join the conversation. If you have a question that you would like to ask, just go ahead and type it in the chat box. Our producer, Carolyn, she will get those questions to us and we will answer as many as we can. So first things first, who are we? This may be the first time that you've been exposed to St. Ambrose Academy, and I'd like to give you a little introduction about who we are. St. Ambrose Academy is an independent Catholic school in the Diocese of Madison. We're located on Madison's west side, and we serve students in grades 6 through 12. Our 114 students are currently served by a faithful and talented team of 16 faculty, 4 of whom hold doctorates and 7 have master's degrees. Our identity as a school is made up of what we like to call the 3 C's. We are Catholic, we are classical, and we are close-knit. Now, I'd like to get started with our program and start introducing you to these great and wonderful guests that we have with us this evening. All right. Carolyn, if you can show our viewers all of the wonderful students that we have with us tonight, and I'm going to give you a chance to meet them one by one, and we're going to start with Mary. Hi, Mary. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing very good today. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am so excited that you're here, Mary. Mary is one of my good friends. We've been together for 7 years now, haven't we? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot for us to reminisce about. And I would love for you to just tell people where you live, what parish you go to, and what grade you were in when you entered St. Ambrose Academy.
So I live in Evansville, Wisconsin, which is about 30 minutes south from St. Ambrose. And I go to St. Paul's here in Evansville. And I have been at St. Ambrose since 6th grade, so a total of 7 years.
Oh my goodness, 7 is definitely a good number. Oh, Mary, so much has passed in 7 years, I'm sure. And you have taken plenty of classical classes at St. Ambrose Academy in your 7 years. And I would just really love to start off by asking you a couple of questions about, your most memorable class, a class that you took during these 7 years that you found to be the most memorable, and why you found that class to be memorable. And maybe there's more than one, but, what would you say, to that question?
So I do have 2. It's a tie between Bio 2, which is our advanced bio course, and Religion 4. Both I'm taking this year. But I've been really enjoying Religion 4 because it's given a more modern take on religion. So we're learning more about modern ideas and things in the past 100 years or so. And it feels like I can connect a little more because they're relating more about topics that have come up recently. So yeah, I've been really liking Religion 4. And Bio 2, I'm going into nursing. So I love learning about the body, and I'm really enjoying to get an in-depth study of the body. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, Mary, you kind of mentioned that there's some modern topics that have been coming up in your your Religion 4 class. Anything of note lately that was a part of a great conversation that you recently had in the classroom?
So during the third quarter, we read Rerum Novarum, which is the encyclical, can't remember what Pope it's by, but uh, it's about the response to socialism, and like it covers so many topics. And we wrote a religion paper recently regarding topics found in Rerum Novarum. So that was really cool to explore that and find how it relates to other encyclicals that have been written and stuff in the catechism. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to pick on somebody else now. Let me see, Grace. Grace, how are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Again, you're somebody else that I've been able to enjoy getting to know over the past 7 years. And can you tell us where you live and the parish that you belong to and what grade you were when you entered into St. Ambrose Academy?
Yeah. So I've lived in Madison my whole life, very close to St. Ambrose. And I go to St. Thomas Aquinas, which is also where St. Ambrose has their school. So that's cool. And I started St. Ambrose in 6th grade also.
Oh, awesome. All right. So you heard me ask Mary that question about your most memorable class. You've had 7 years of classes at St. Ambrose. What would you say has been the most memorable class for you or classes, and why?
I've also really loved biology this year. Before this year, I had no idea what I was going to be doing in college, but I was just really fascinated about learning about the cell and like how much complexity is at such a small level of life. So biology is definitely really important to me. And then another class, Algebra 2, my sophomore year, mostly because of Mr. Reinish. He was just such an awesome teacher and such a great person. And he would, it was a very small class, so we could have discussions about just life, which was really fun. So it's cool to be able to connect with teachers on that level.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome. And, talking about teachers, and I'm going to ask a lot of different questions tonight of different people, but, oh, look, it's Mariana. Mariana lives nearby me. And I think, actually, I'm going to get back to that teacher question, but she just popped into my house. Mariana, say hello to everyone.
Hello.
And so, Mariana, you live in Brooklyn. I live in Oregon. So we live about, how many minutes did it take you to get here?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
We just solved technical difficulties by having her come over. Mariana, what parish do you go to?
I belong to the Cathedral Parish of downtown Madison.
Okay, downtown Madison. And do you have a class? We were just talking about memorable classes and classes that you've loved. Do you have a class that you just really enjoyed at St. Ambrose Academy?
Well, that's really hard for me to say because I have really enjoyed all of my classes I've taken. But if I had to pick, I think it would be Religion 1, which I took my freshman year. And I think that's my favorite class because I learned so much from it, not just like religion, like doctrine and stuff, but I learned about like how to reason through things well through like our study of logic, which we do in the first quarter. And that really set me up for like academic success in my later high school career. So,
oh, wow. That's awesome. That's great. John, I'm going to have you introduce yourself. We've got 5 ladies here and 1 gentleman this evening. So, John, tell us, where you live, your parish, and I want to hear about your most memorable class.
All right, I'm John. I am from Madison. I go to St. Mary's in Pine Bluff for Mass. I've been at St. Ambrose since 6th grade. My most memorable class, I'd have to say history for, like, I don't know, Mr. Quas, who teaches that, is such an amazing teacher. There's, like, every day I go into that class, there's always something new or something interesting. Like, we'll go in, class starts, and he starts playing some random jazz song from the 1920s and, like, sets the stage. And then we get into, like, a 30-minute long discussion on something having to do with it. And it's just such a fun experience that, like, makes me ready to learn and, like, engage with the material.
Awesome. what topics have you guys been covering in history this year?
We've been going through pretty much everything, like from World War I to World War II, like American and European history. So, like the previous years, we went all the way up from ancient to medieval to early American history, but now we're doing more modern history with World War I and World War II, and going through like the root causes and like the political and diplomatic environment of like Europe. Like it's really hard for some people. There's some people that really don't like it, but that's like my favorite thing is like discussing all these like really intricate topics about like war and stuff, and it's great.
So was there anything that came up this year in the class that was like, it blew your mind? You were like, whoa, this is really fascinating. I never would have guessed that this is part of our history. Did you have any of those moments?
There was one moment where we were talking about World War II, or one of the wars surrounding World War II, and it's the bombing of Guernica, I think, in Spain, and Pablo Picasso did art rendition of it, of like the suffering undergone from the firebombing of it. So it's like, I think thousands of civilians died, and the way Mr. Claus explained it was that it was almost a better representation than a realistic image of it, because like a realistic image doesn't capture the full misery and like destruction of the scene. But then that kind of like, I don't know, it merged two topics of like war and the modern view of war and how it's so destructive and a lot different than ancient war, but also the idea of abstract, like, I don't know, like Picasso modern art and how it seeks to like totally alter the view of art and culture because to adapt to this like changing landscape. So it's so cool how like the idea of abstract art and like not, I don't know what the word for it, but not nobility in war, like the firebombing and the misery of non-combatants, that together just made like a super interesting topic, and it kind of just like made me think a ton about that.
So it sounds like this is a class that you love going to.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let me see. We've got Naomi. Naomi, it's your turn. I would love for you to share with our viewers where you're from and your parish, how long you've been at St. Ambrose, and I want to hear about your favorite class too.
Okay. So I live near Monroe or Monticello, Wisconsin. I'm out in the country. It is a 45-minute drive, but yes, it is worth it. And then I go to St. Clair of Assisi down in Monroe. And I came to St. Ambrose in 6th grade. I've been here. It's my 7th year. But yeah, my favorite class is, or most memorable. We have a lot of great classes. I will never forget 7th grade history with Mr. Bowden, because at the end of every chapter, we'd make a skit of whatever happened in the chapter. So, you know, we had our tables making boats. We made a lot of paper hats. There were a lot of graph paper hats. Yeah, it was just so fun. I mean, we have videos of all of them. I hope someone kept them, but it was always something to look forward to. And honestly, it helped me remember those things so well because we recreated it. So that was always fun.
All right, so I saw a few smiles when Naomi was talking about the skits in 7th grade, and that was American history, right? Is that American history? Okay, how many of you remember those skits with Mr. Bowden? Raise your hand. Now, Louisa, you came in a little bit closer to high school, right? And so, Louisa, why don't you tell us where you're from, your parish, and what grade you were in when you came to St. Ambrose Academy?
So when I first started out at St. Ambrose, I lived in Mount Horeb, and I moved to Middleton, and now I'm in Arena. So I'm about 45 minutes away from St. Ambrose, but just like what Naomi said, it's worth the drive. And my parish is St. Andrew's in Verona. And yes, I've been at St. Ambrose for about 4.5 to 5 years. I came halfway through 8th grade year, and then I stayed all throughout my high school year. And my favorite class, it's really hard because all the classes have they're all so good. But I think I'll have to go with just what John said. I think history with Mr. Quas is real. It's my favorite class. I love learning about World War II and history, and it's a really nice subject. So, yeah.
Now, have there been any events in that history class? John kind of talked about, an event that, or a topic that he really liked. Has there been any particular topic this year during that history class that has just really stood out for you? Louisa.
Definitely, World War II was interesting. Growing up, my brothers were really into World War II, and they used to watch movies based off World War II. And I never really understood the movies because I just wasn't into them. But when we were learning this year about World War II and significant events, it was really nice because I got to link the pieces together. So, especially about the Holocaust, it's a very sad event in history, but I think it's very interesting to learn, and just learn how people how damaging that event was to the world, but also how it changed the world to do better and to not repeat our past. So that was a particular part that I really enjoyed learning about in history class.
Well, Louisa, while I have you, and thanks for sharing that. While I have you, and you're talking about classes, it makes me think about teachers. And I'm just going to repeat that I think that, I've been blessed because for some of you, I've been a cross country coach for you, but I have been a musical director for all of you, and I've had this wonderful opportunity to work with you outside of the classroom, but not really in the classroom of the regular school day. And so, we've talked, kind of on and off throughout this year about how it would be so fun just to get together and hear you tell your stories about what was happening during the school day. And Louisa, I would love to hear you share about your favorite teachers and a teacher or teachers that really have made an impact on you and touched you in a special way. You mentioned coming in the middle of eighth grade. That must have been challenging to switch schools at that time. And can you share a little bit about your experience with teachers?
Sure. So my favorite teacher is Mr. Quas, not only because he's a really good history teacher, but in eighth grade, I jumped into St. Ambrose, and it was a little difficult to catch up with the other kids. And at my old school, teachers didn't really take one-on-one time to talk to me about my academics. And Mr. Quas was the first teacher to approach me and really pushed me to do really good. And he said, he saw a lot of potential in me, and I never really saw that in any of my peers before, and that really inspired me to do really good in high school and just in life generally, not to be afraid of hard steps. So it was really nice to have just not even just Mr. Quas, but the teachers that were mine to just surround me and push me to do good and to not be afraid to strive for greatness. So all the teachers are just wonderful because they're not just like that with me, they're with all the students, but they also they know how to make the class interesting. Just how Naomi said, Mr. Bowden, I didn't have him, but the teachers in their own way, they make the subject interesting by making it engaging, and I really enjoy that about the teachers.
Oh, thank you, Louisa. Mary, how about you? Your favorite teachers, and why?
I'm gonna echo Naomi on this one. Mr. Bowden was a really fun history teacher. I I can remember all the little skits that we did. But my favorite teacher that I've had in high school, I only had him for not even a whole year, but it was Dr. Monahan. He saw me as a person, and he really saw my potential. And I have struggles taking tests with test anxiety, and he personally worked with me on doing that. And was like, "It'll be fine. Just breathe. Just breathe." So it just made me feel like so much better about myself taking tests. But yeah, he was just super funny too, and always made me laugh and made everyone laugh. So yeah, just super nice and made everyone feel at ease.
Well, this is making me think of Catholic Schools Week and the way that you all of you honored Dr. Monahan by dressing up like Dr. Monahan. To our producer, Carolyn, it would be really, this is kind of short notice, but if we can dig up one of those pictures and show people, that would be really fun. She just said she'll try. She's going to try and find it so we can show all of you. But that's a great memory as well. Grace, how about you? Your favorite teacher?
That's a really hard question because they're all awesome. Yeah. But again, like Mary and Louise were saying, the thing that really sets them apart is how much they care about all of us. Like, I don't think that you would necessarily find that at other schools. So I kind of talked about Mr. Reinish a little bit, how he would take time away from the lesson to like say, how are you guys doing? Can I help you with anything like outside of math class? Yeah, like how's it going? He would just talk to us about. Same with Dr. Monahan and like his passion about science and his. He was such a good teacher, and that was very contagious to me. Like how excited he was about science. It made me want to learn more about science and be more passionate about it. And also Mr. Carey, just an awesome math teacher, but also just really wants to make sure that we're comfortable with the material before we're tested on it. He'll give us extra practice problems. He'll check in on us individually, say, how are you doing with this material? So I just really appreciate that, how much our teachers care about us. It's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. And, you know, as a mom in this school too, I saw some really awesome emails where Mr. Carey would send these emails with step-by-step on how to solve a calculus problem. And I would just like be blown away by the accessibility that was out there with him. And I'm going to actually bring my computer a little closer to Mariana and give Mariana a chance to talk about your experiences with faculty members. I'm going to pull this just a little closer to you so that we can hear you. And so why don't you share your who your favorites are?
Well, like I'm echoing everyone as I say this, but like all the teachers are really wonderful, so fantastic. It's hard for me to like pick a favorite, but like I said before, I mentioned that religion was one of my favorite classes. I'll talk about my 3 religion teachers, which were Mrs. Ciscara in 6th grade, and then Mr. Delaney, who taught me 7th, 8th, and 10th and 11th grade, and then Dr. Nielsen, who taught me in freshman year and now senior year. And I just really, really love religion class. It's always been one of my favorite classes ever since I've been here, because each of those teachers I could tell had this passion for the faith, and I couldn't resist, and I just like wanted to grab onto that too. And they just had like this fire in their hearts when they talked about all the teachings the church has, and just they were so excited about being Catholic. And, you know, I just really took that and I was like, I want to be just like them. And they've just been excellent role models to me, like about how to be a good Catholic, not just knowing the doctrine, not just being able to recite random Bible verses, but just like how to live an authentically good Catholic life.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Mariana. Let me see. Who's left? John. John, your favorite teacher. Yeah?
So I've already said this, but Dr. Nielsen, in her religion class, it's less about I love the material a lot, but Dr. Nielsen teaching it makes it so much better, because like her teaching style, it's like so effective on me. I don't know, like she wants you to learn it before she wants anything else. Like she would rather like you learned it than she would rather a student learn something than we did anything else in the class. So she'd take so much time to like personalize and help each and every one of us to get the concepts, even if it meant going into random discussions about various nuances of the topic. And the things I've learned in her class are so applicable to my life. Like when we talked about Gaudium at space number 24, like and how your whole essence, basically, like your whole fulfillment, basically, is summed up in giving yourself completely to others, and most fully in God. And it's so simple, but that's like the key to life. And hearing that from a teacher is like, just as like a common fact, is so incredible. And then her hammering it in throughout the whole year, just telling us this is the key pretty much to your whole faith. And we see it reflected in every church document. Like that whole class, and especially her as a teacher, is so incredibly impactful.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Naomi, your favorite teachers?
Super hard question. But I've had Mr. Carey for the last 2 years, and he, I do have to say, has kind of been a saving grace for my academics because I tend to procrastinate a lot. And he's found a perfect balance of making just enough fun of me when I don't get things done that I'll do it, but it's still funny, but like I'll avoid the ridicule and get my stuff done. But he still encourages me to strive for high standards in my life as a student, but also outside of things. So outside of school, like I know I can come to him and say, hey, sorry I didn't get this done, but like my family came in from town and I see them twice a year, and he just has helped me prioritize sometimes family over school, while balancing those responsibilities. And he also, his problems, he invests so much. I don't mean his problems, I mean like the math and physics problems. He invests a lot of time in that. He usually writes his own, and I just will never forget physics problems that he gave us. I want to say it was 8 pages long, pictures printed in color of The Grinch Stole Christmas, but it was all rhymed. Like it was a full poem, but there were physics problems, and it gave me a lot of holiday cheer. It was great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, gang. Carolyn, our producer, is going to share the picture of Dr. Monahan. You all dressing up like Dr. Monahan. Look at this. Isn't that a great memory? Okay, so I have to ask, did any of you the masterminds behind that class dress-up experience? Because it was hard to tell who Dr. Monahan was and who you all were at first glance in the picture. Who was the mastermind? Oh, Mary. Okay, Mary, can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, what did you tell everybody they had to do?
So when Claire, our the student president, student body president, she's a senior, and when I heard we were doing teacher day, I'm like, we gotta do Dr. Monahan. Like, that would be so funny. And so we were all like picking out his defining characteristics, like obviously the bald cap. We definitely had to have that. He always keeps a little notebook and a pen in his shirt pocket, so we had to have that. And then you gotta have the coordinating shirt and tie and pants. That was like, those were the things. Oh, and the glasses, obviously. So yeah, that was, we all had little notebooks and pens, and that was really fun.
Oh my goodness, you guys are amazing. And he turned some of that COVID stuff that was a bit challenging. You know, he always had very interesting masks too. You know, like science guy masks and that sort of thing. It's good to know that you were the mastermind. I'm gonna remember that when I need another good costume idea, Mary. So hey, speaking of that, extracurriculars. All of you have been involved in a variety of extracurriculars. There's a whole lot going on at St. Ambrose, but you guys, you've really invested your time in school. Mary, what extracurriculars have you been involved in over these past years at St. Ambrose?
So I did cross country from 7th grade to freshman year. And Mrs. Hineline was my coach for 2 of those years. So that was really fun. I just have lots of memories of practice and being her parrot while we walked to the course. And yeah, I mostly did it hang out with people. I'm not the best runner in the world, but I definitely pushed myself, and Miss Hineline helped me work through my asthma problem, so that was really fun. And I also did musical from 6th grade to 12th grade, so I've been doing that for a really long time.
Okay, what was your favorite musical?
Singing in the Rain. Yeah, that
Awesome.
was definitely my favorite.
Awesome. Grace, how about you? What extracurriculars have you been involved in?
So I've also done cross country and musical, Guardians for Life. I did soccer for 1 year, and we started a student prayer ministry this year, which has been really nice. And I've been on the Versati Fest planning team. So yeah.
You've had a busy extracurricular life. Do you have like a highlight of all of those years of extracurriculars? Anything that like really stands out to you about your extracurricular experiences? Something that was really fun that you want to share?
Yeah, so the musical is always like the highlight of my year. They're just so fun. And the cast is so supportive. We're like a big family. I remember 1 year in Mary Poppins, I was Jane. And at school, like a few weeks later, I received a letter. And someone, like a stranger that I didn't know, was just telling me like so much for your performance, and like it touched me so much. I was just like, wow, because you, Mrs. Heinlein, always tell us like it's our duty to bring joy to the audience, and like there are people in the audience that are hurting, and this is their chance to escape from that and to just enjoy and to laugh. But having someone go out of their way to contact me, have my address or anything, but to just thank me was so impactful to me, and definitely changed the way that I approach performance in the future and the rest of the musicals.
Oh, that's awesome. And that, how awesome to have that work, that fun that you're doing be about someone else. It makes me think about, John, what you were saying, that message that Dr. Nielsen had, right? And it's like this idea that, we're made to serve other people. And that's when we have like the greatest joy, right? And the greatest fulfillment. Louisa, your extracurriculars, can you share what you've been involved in outside of school?
So I did the musical. I did stage crew for a while, and then I actually performed in The Wizard of Oz and Singing in the Rain. I did cross country since 6th grade, and then I joined the St. Ambrose Elementary, and I stopped sophomore year. But I did debate last year, which was really nice. I got to go to state, which was really awesome, a great experience. And I did student council, and I also did Guardians for Life.
Okay. You mentioned debate a little bit. Can I ask you a question about debate, Louisa? I know that you
Yes.
really liked that experience a lot, right?
Yeah.
And how do you feel like debate helped you grow as a person?
Well, in 8th grade, I was in a speech contest, and it was my first speech contest ever, but I made it to, I passed the first round, and then I went to the second round where I competed with like actual other schools, and I almost won the competition, but Steven said that, oh, if you really like making speeches, you should go and do debate. And I was kind of nervous at first, but I did debate, and it actually helped me a lot with my essays, but it also helped me a lot with public speaking and just helping like forming arguments. It also kind of got me into like politics a little bit, like realizing what's going on in our world. And also it got me the opportunity to just like make new friends. A lot of people look at debate as like, oh, it's so boring, but I loved it. It was like such a drive, because in school you write essays and like only your teachers read about it, but like in debate it's almost like you write an essay and like you get to actually like argue against other people, which it's I really liked it. Um, but yeah, I think debate is real. It was a really good experience for me, and it's going to really benefit me in the future if for me defending my faith. But also just when writing essays or writing important documents in my career.
Well, you know what, Louisa, it's obvious, isn't it clear? She's such a great speaker, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do in the world with those awesome speaking skills. So Mariana, again, I'm going to move this closer to you because I want the listeners to hear your story. Tell us about, for example, you had quite a few particular experiences. So can you share about that as well?
Yeah, sure. So I've been involved in cross country. I did cross country from seventh until my junior year, and then I've been doing the musical since seventh grade. So I've done that, yeah, until just this upcoming year, and then I joined Guardians for Life, which is a high school only group in my freshman year, and now I've been co-chair of that group for 2 years now. And I've also done girls soccer. I did it my sophomore year, and then I'm doing it again this year. But Guardians for Life has also been a really special extracurricular for me because I got to take a part in like activism and just like going out to like Planned Parenthoods and praying there. Like those have been one of the most powerful experiences of my life because I've been able to be there and just pray for the women who feel that they need an abortion, and I'm able to be there with my friends as well. And it's just great to know that in today's day and age, you see that the abortion is just like it's very popular, and people don't see it as an immoral thing to do. But being able to go to Planned Parenthood with my friends makes me feel like happy that I'm not alone with this idea that babies do matter, that life begins at the moment of conception. And yeah, just having that support from my friends there. And I know for sure when I go into college, I'm going to find the first pro-life organization that's available to me there, or start one if there isn't one there. So yeah.
Okay, wow. She's either going to find one or start one. That's really incredible. And that's awesome. I'm really glad that you shared that story. And I have to tell you, it warms my heart to hear about you praying together as friends, on behalf of babies in the womb. Naomi, can you share your extracurricular experiences with us and, tell us a little bit about what you've been involved in?
Yeah, through St. Ambrose, I did cross country from 6th grade through junior year of high school, and then the musical every year. And then clubs like Guardians for Life, the Student Service Day Planning Team, and then the Student Ministry Team as well. And yeah, I guess one of my favorite stories was from cross country. Do I have permission to share this one?
You can, you know what? We are sharing all the stories tonight, right? We brought our cups. We can take long drinks while you talk. Go ahead. Go ahead. And it says, my cup, actually, I want to share my message. It says, enjoy the journey. So part of enjoying the journey, Naomi, is listen to you tell your tale. Tell your tale, girl.
There you go. I have a cow cup because apparently my water bottle wasn't cute enough for this, so it's fine. But for cross country, back to 7th grade, it was a good year. With our coach, and she had set up this great plan for a bunch of the girls paced together. A lot of us were of similar just level that year, and we had a plan that we were going to take turns kind of leading the pack ahead. So that worked for most of it. And then we eventually split up as everyone got varying levels of tired. And I was pushing ahead in the race, and I rounded a corner and I saw Mrs. Hineline. She's like, Naomi, ease up, Naomi, ease up. And I said, okay, I'll go. And I mistook that to mean ease up farther in the pack, like, push more, go ahead farther. So I continued to do that. And it was a 1.3 mile race. And I was like, I can do this. And I saw her again, and she was yelling more adamantly, like, ease up, ease up. I was like, okay, I'll ease up. And so I eased up farther until I threw up, which I think worked. The competition gets a little scared when you do that. So it's effective. But after that race is when I realized that Mrs. Hineline did not want me to do that. She was telling me to just take it a little easier. not destroy myself in that. But I just learned that she will really, really push you to achieve your absolute best, but never wants you to go past your breaking point, which I really saw with musical, Singing in the Rain this year. In contrast with 6th grade when I played Amaryllis, she couldn't get enough sound out of me to, be picked up even by mics. It was just, I was so quiet. And then this year I had a lead and we began singing, everything like that. I felt way more confident and she pushed me again, but always made me feel like I was achieving what I could achieve. I felt comfortable, but also challenged. So, yeah.
Well, you know what? You worked very hard as Kathy. Didn't you do a great job? But it's kind of fun because we're all in this room. And I think that almost all of you, except Louisa, you weren't with us yet, but you were so quiet when you were Amaryllis, right? And it's kind of fun, with these extracurriculars and these activities that you're a part of, to see like how much you've grown. And for you to be able to see that, I grew, but I also learned not to break myself in the process, right? That growing comes in little increments, little bit at a time. That's awesome. Actually, I'm glad that you brought up that story. That's a good memory. I need to not say words like ease because that was a confusing word. I should have said slow down. That would have been a lot better. Okay, John, you're up next. We'd love to hear what you've been involved in. You're a busy guy, balancing school, but like enjoying some things after school as well. So tell us about your extracurricular life.
Yeah, so my main two things are basically I love music and I love athletics. So athletics-wise, I did football freshman year. I did cross country all through junior high, and then like the past 2 years, I've done track all 4 years of high school. I did rugby for a summer, and that was fun. But I love like anything athletic is super fun. Like gym classes, everything's fun. And then music-wise, music is like one of my favorite pastimes, and like I don't know, I love it so much. I do piano, voice. I did clarinet for a little bit. I did the musical, and I learned to tap dance in the past 2 years, and now I'm really into that too.
And you became quite a tap dancer, I must say. I mean, wow, right? In 2 years. That's pretty awesome. And you're doing pretty well in track right now, aren't you? How's track going?
It's going pretty good. I don't know. I've been like training for like all of high school kind of, but I don't know. I'm really enjoying the season. Like even when I don't do that well, it still is like a super fun experience. And like, it's such a good environment to be around like competitors and people all like trying to get the farthest distance or the fastest times, and it's so fun. But I'm doing pretty well.
Track is it's unique because it's not just students of St. Ambrose Academy that make up the team. So can you talk a little bit about how we work with other schools to build a team?
Oh yeah,
track?
we have a tryout. So St. Ambrose, ALCS, and MCDS all team up to form one like medium-sized team for track, and we're always you would think that we would be a lot more separated, but I don't know. I have friends from like all the different schools. Like we all like mesh immediately. It's really fun actually.
Well, that seems to me like that could be a real nice benefit of the extracurriculars, the sport extracurriculars within our schools, that you get to meet, students at Abundant Life, at Madison Country Day, in those athletic activities, and develop camaraderie, connecting with other students from other small schools in the area. So that's cool. That's awesome. All right. This is probably going to end up being the last question, one of the last ones. Okay. Oh, all right. John, you just got a comment. John is awesome at track, Sammy. Okay. Just so you know, you got a shout out. I would love to know, what is the very best part of being a student at St. Ambrose Academy? What's the best part? Grace, can you tell us, what is the best part of being a student at St. Ambrose?
That's another really hard question. I would say definitely people. So the teachers are awesome because they care about you so much, but also the students, my closest friend in my class, and we've become so tight, and we encourage each other in prayer and in our and to do better in academics. And I'm just so grateful. Like, I'm gonna miss everyone next year because they're truly my best friends. So teachers, students, and also of course the education and how everything that we learn, even math, even science, is so focused around Jesus because he's our ultimate. Christ is everything for us. So those three things are my favorite.
Mary, how about you? What's the best part? Best part of being an Ambrosian?
Grace took all my things. My favorite one, I'm gonna say the community. Like, the teachers are awesome. It's been really fun getting to grow with our class, with my class. I've been with most of them since 6th grade, so they've become just like my brothers and sisters. And getting to see the younger classes grow up, like I have a sister who's a sophomore, and it's been really cool to see her grow up. Just getting to interact with all other different grades, and even the junior high when they were still in the building, it was cool, and musical exposed me to them as well. So just to see their joy and energy. But yeah, I love just that, we start class with a prayer every single day. So it's just like that's the first thing that we do is pray to Jesus.
Awesome. All right, Naomi, what is the best part of being an Ambrosian?
For me, it was definitely, and still is, just kind of like Grace and Mary, you're saying, you just feel so loved here. Like, I know the students, I know the teachers, and I feel like it's been a really safe environment socially for me to figure out who I want to be and work on growing and becoming the person I would like to be, while just feeling like I'm supported in academics. I love academics, and my class has just provided such support of that environment. We all challenge each other, but there's a lot of support behind it as well. So it's not competitive, it's loving, and it's just helped me really become the person that I want to be.
Awesome. And I've got Mariana. You can probably tell I'm moving the computer closer to her. Being an Ambrosian.
Oh, I just want to say everything, but just like Grace, Naomi, Mary have said, the community here is wonderful. just kind of like what Naomi said, you feel safe here, like that people love you and they genuinely care about you and they have your best interests in mind. And just you're always being pushed to be great in everything, not just your academics, but also like your faith life and just like being a good person. And that I am forever grateful that my parents sent me here. And yeah, and I was able to experience this wonderful community.
I have to give a little plug to our parents right now because, this school, we are, the parents are the primary educators. So we have this awesome blessing to participate in that process. And these are good kids. They're awesome, great, good people coming from good families. So John, I would love for you to share about what's the best part of being an Ambrosian?
Yeah, I'm gonna also have to say the environment. Like, I don't know, it's just such an influencing part of a school. Like, whatever I could have achieved alone is multiplied like infinitely by having people who are there for me and are there to give me a comforting environment and can be there for me like throughout the school day, to talk to hang out with, to make jokes with. And the teachers too, who are just all there to inspire you through their vulnerability and like giving you these like super in-depth classes and discussions and really engage with everything you're saying. So having that engagement with your own thoughts has helped me so much to grow as a person. Like, I have to say it's the connectedness and the interactivity between peers and teachers, and yeah.
Awesome. Louisa, what is the best part of being an Ambrosian?
The best part about being an Ambrosian is that in 10 years, I can look back at St. Ambrose and have no regrets. and just look back at my teachers and my classmates and be like, that was like the best part of my life. Because I hear a lot of kids right now just they look at high school and they're having such a hard time, and I just feel so bad because I'm like I'm so grateful, but I feel so bad because I'm like, I wish you would have like the experience of, you know, like having that close knit, having friends that care. And I really hope that in 10 years that I can, if I look at St. Ambrose, that it just grows bigger, because it's truly amazing what St. Ambrose can do just for one person in a family. So St. Ambrose is great. I can't even say like one thing. I think all of it's awesome. It's wonderful.
Well, you know what? This entire group of people here right now, you guys have made our school so great. And this 2021 class, this graduating class, and I know we only have 6 of you here today. We couldn't bring the whole class in, but you all as a group of people have grown, and you have, you've kind of created your own legacy, some things that you can leave behind, right? For the students that are going to follow you. And so I actually sent you a question, and one of my questions was, what is your legacy, right? What is your legacy? And Mary, what do you think the legacy of the 2021 class is?
I have to say our legacy is our attitude of joy and laughter. And especially this year with all the COVID things, and we thought sitting at our own table 6 feet away from everyone else was going to be horrible. But we just got even closer than we had in the past. And so I hope that other classes can look up to our class and be like, wow, they just radiated joy, and I hope to be like them.
Naomi, what do you think the legacy of your class is?
I think the legacy of our class is contributing to that environment I was talking about earlier, specifically because I see with junior high students, when we were in 6th and 7th grade, the upperclassmen were awesome. They were really, really smart, super caring people, but we were all terrified of them. They were just a different level. But this year, I've just seen so many like 6th graders come up to any senior and just tell a story about their day. They feel so comfortable around all of us, and I'm really grateful that we could create a kind of community that makes everyone feel comfortable and find friendship in that.
That's awesome. Grace, how about you? What's the legacy of your class?
Definitely going off of what Naomi said, I think our class does a really good job of being very kind and being very open to talking to anybody, especially the younger kids. Like, we love them. We want to be their friend. So I think that's really great. And then also, I think we are a very good example of good work ethic. A lot of younger classes kind of call our senior class like the nerdy class or something. But I think we're a really good example of academic rigor and really caring about your studies.
That's awesome. Louisa, what is the what's the legacy of your class?
Just going off with what Grace said, that we all care about academics, but our class, it's been so cool since not 6th grade, but freshman year. Our class has been working on study guides for every test, every quiz we have, so we can almost work together. And honestly, I just can't wait to look at those study guides at the end of the year just to see how big the stack is. That's one thing I can just think about, that I'll be like, oh yeah, I totally remember that. But also just how, we just push each other. We encourage each other to do great. We never want to see a student in our class be sad or have a bad day or feel that they're not good enough. We strive for greatness in our class, and we want to, and I think being an example for other classes is something that we carry out.
That's awesome. How about you, Mariana? What do you think the legacy is?
Kind of like what Louisa said. One thing that I really loved about our class is that we never settled for complacency or mediocrity in everything and anything we did. we always wanted to do the absolute best we could, and we always pushed each other to do that. Like if we notice that someone's slacking, we're like, hey, we know you can do better. Like, and that really helped me grow as a person, just to have like 12 other people keep me accountable on my grades and my faith and just like my overall my entire life, just like keeping me like telling me to strive for greatness, to never do less than what I am able to do. And I hope other classes can push each other to do the same as we have.
All right, John, what are your thoughts on that? What's your legacy? And you're representing the guys. There's guys in your class. You're not the only one. So, let's hear the guy voice and your voice on this perspective. What do you think your class's legacy is?
I mean, for sure, kindness and empathy is like the #1 priority. Like for us guys, I don't know, we're a super minority in the class, and like, I don't know, getting to know those guys has been so awesome. Like, I don't know, there's only 4 guys, so like, what are the odds that we all like each other? But I don't know, all of them have had like the funniest jokes with me, and like, I had so much fun, like helping them with athletics or like starting to get in shape, starting to like pursue academics more. Like, it's just the focus on the other person first, definitely in our class, is so prevalent, where people don't think about themselves really that much. It's like you care about the other person's feelings, you care about how they think about the situation before yourself. And I think that makes such a wave of like influence on the whole school, which is awesome to see.
Wonderful. Hey, John, we're kind of at the point in our program where I'm going to ask you what you're going to do after you graduate. What are you going to be doing next year?
Oh yeah, I'm going to be going to UW-Madison for vocal performance and neurobiology for pre-med.
All right. Grace, how about you?
I'm also going to be at UW-Madison next year, and I'm going to be studying biology, and I hope to later become a physician's assistant.
Louisa, where are you heading after this?
So I'm going to MATC for 2 years, and then I'm going to do a transfer program to another college, and I'll be getting my bachelor's degree in business. And I hope to be an entrepreneur and own my own business someday. Yeah.
That's wonderful. You know what, Louisa? We are all going to help you promote that business when it happens. I believe that's happening for you. Mary, what are you doing after high school?
After high school, I'm going to go to Viterbo up in La Crosse and go to nursing.
Going to nursing. Awesome. Naomi, how about you?
I will be attending UW Eau Claire for piano performance and applying for a recording art certificate.
Wow. Awesome. And I'm going to bring this closer to Mariana. And Mariana, what are you doing?
I will be attending the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I will be majoring in neurobiology.
All right. Let me see here. Do we have any questions? I'm going to do a little bit of a wrap up. And the big thing is that I definitely want to thank all of these wonderful seniors here. I've got Mariana right here in my living room with me, which is pretty awesome. But all of you seniors, I just want to thank you for doing such a great job investing yourself in your school life, in your extracurricular life, but most importantly, in the way that you are choosing to serve Jesus and the church. In your everyday life with the people in school, with the people that you meet. And we just pray that you're going to just take all this and carry it forward. And we'll just be keeping you in our prayers so much. And I know, you all know, I am going to miss you. I have joked about not wanting to let you go. And but it has just been a real joy to spend these past years with you. You guys are great. You're awesome. Let me see. Oh, there's a question here. Maybe get a couple thoughts from the students about why someone should want to come to St. Ambrose. All right. All right, let me see. I'm going to give you 1 minute as a group. You can chime in on your own. Why should somebody choose St. Ambrose Academy? Go. Okay, go ahead, Louisa.
Because I think someone should go to St. Ambrose because it's a great way to learn how to become closer to your faith, but also how to defend it, especially in this day and age. I think the teachings that the teachers give you at St. Ambrose, they teach you how to be prepared in tough situations, but also how to grow strong as a Catholic.
All right. Yes, go. Go, Naomi.
I'm gonna tag off Louisa there and just say that going to St. Ambrose, I was talking to someone about this recently, and it made me realize that for me, it's very important to understand why I'm doing something, the history behind it, what it means. And as a Catholic, it's so easy to go through the motions, go to Mass, receive the sacraments, you just do all of that. But being at St. Ambrose and studying faith, studying church fathers, studying the Bible, studying encyclicals, and more than that, it just has allowed me to understand why we believe what we believe and the history and how it came to be. And that's very important for me and a grounding element of my faith because I know why now.
Any other thoughts about why you should go to St. Ambrose Academy? John.
I mean, what Naomi said was so true about purpose and like your inspiration and motivation when you're doing something is so proportional to like how much you know about it and what you know and how you know why you're doing it. So going to St. Ambrose, as I talked about earlier in the religion class, it's like learning these key aspects to life and how you can make your existence worthwhile and fulfilled is so important to just everyday motivation and everyday activity and relationships. And I think that's super, super important in your development.
Wonderful. Any other thoughts? Okay. Mariana has something.
You're gonna learn so much when you attend this school, not just in academics, but just your faith and how to be a good person. And I just think that's something so valuable that everyone should get a chance to learn.
All right. Ambrosians, thank you so much for being here. We're going to wrap up. We are, like I said before, it's just been such a blessing to have this class, this incredible group of students, and these 6 only represent part of their class. The entire class is really incredible. Your graduation date is coming up. Some of you are going to be giving speeches at that event, and we are just super excited for you. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and invite you, if you enjoyed listening to these students share their stories, share their perspective, and if you'd like to learn more about our incredible school, I would like to invite you to check us out at ambroseacademy.org. You can visit our website, you can go to our Contact Us page, and you can send us a little email letting us know that you'd like to visit our school, schedule a student shadow day for your child, or you could talk to me. I'm our enrollment director, and I would be happy to answer any of the questions that you might have about our wonderful school. Our phone number is 608-827-5863. I want to thank you again for joining us this evening for our student pop-up, and I'd love to wish you a good evening and ask God to bless you and your families. Good night.